And on the note of taking a step back, zooming out, and how our life is so much more than the academic experience, I found this a time to zoom back and find connections with people I've never talked to or I haven't talked to for a long time. So for instance, I had a Zoom call with my middle school friends and see everyone so grown up in like double sizes as we were before. And that's a serendipitous opportunities this crisis provides, should we choose to seek it. But as we've seen in the past couple of days, you all have launched so many connection services, be it Duke Reach or the assistance fund I recently rolled out. How would you recommend students navigating these resources, and what would you tell students about them?
On the Duke Reach side and on the Student Assistance Fund side, as always, there's people on the other side of that, application or that call or that email or the the meeting on Zoom. I think the Duke Reach team has seen a significant increase in contact points. The faculty are doing a great job helping Duke Reach. They understand very seriously their role of being sort of the primary points of contact that would help connect students to Duke Reach right now. Although students can still connect their friends and sort of let us know if they're worried about somebody that's just sort of exhibiting different sort of patterns than they would normally see and they're not sure how they're doing. So I think the other piece on the Student Assistance Fund, we've had in the first 24 hours since the platform opened, we have 450 students at least start an application. There's an effort that those folks that have completed something now will hear back by the end of next week. It's Thursday as we're taping this. They'll hear back by the end of the week of the 13th, just to get a better sense of where things are. And the people that are working to sort of coordinate that are really interested in being as helpful as possible to our students.
Yeah, and I'd say, we have many faculty who are still doing flunches.
Yeah.
They look a little different. Food may be a little better, I don't know, but they're doing flunches. We have students who are doing conversations in real time. The number of office hours that folks are having, just kind of chats are really going through the roof. I was talking to a couple of students earlier who were telling me that they, like, each day they plan to contact a different friend, just kind of doing a check-in. I think, these are, Mary Pat and I, have been doing these, evening social things with others of our colleagues, right? Like at the end of the week. And I think that, look, it's all a little weird and a little strange and extremely different, at least for us. But I think we have to put in the effort to try to connect at a time like this. And I don't know about you all, but I feel like I've benefited a great deal from it, and in ways that I don't think I would have fully appreciated.
Just a little comment on that. I feel like it's not dissimilar from, when people go out and start, after graduation in a new community and have to create a community. When people show up at Duke and start as a first year graduate student, you got to just do the awkward. And I think actually a lot of from what I can tell, the students are better at that than those of us who are still adapting more to the platform than others. But it is amazing to watch people make those shifts and to be intentional about those communications and outreaches.
And at least for faculty and staff, I would say, I would remind our student community that people are actually pretty open to connecting. So I know your primary connection points are going to be with your peers, and that's the way it should be. That's a good thing. But if you want to try to have a chat with a faculty member, or if there's particularly for those seniors, I heard for so many of our seniors who, saved office hours and saved lunch visits and just to kind of drop in with interesting faculty for their last semester. I'd encourage you to still do it. I'm available in case nobody really. Anyway, so I think people are people really want to connect, and that includes us. So don't hesitate.
If people haven't looked at sort of, what the CSGD and the Women's Center, Mary Lou, the CMA, the iHouse, there are incredible things coming out of the campus life teams, leadership, the student engagement team. So I've actually gotten a couple of more than a few suggestions from people. Hey, we should be doing meditation and wellness, and
we're doing it.
People over to it, right? And so I think some of those, I always call it my nobody follows it Instagram, but there are definitely sort of there's people want to sweep and sort of check a little bit more about what's out there on the student life platforms. I think they'd find a lot too.
Yeah, I was also hearing there's this guy who's doing an art exhibition and it's going to be online. It's this
Yeah, I
Corey
heard
Pilson
about
guy.
this guy doing
Yeah,
this.
it's something like that.
Yeah,
I was going to check it out, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll see.
go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. All right.